Hello, everybody. Good Sunday morning. It's the 16th. It has been an excellent week this week. Everybody doing the July challenge has been doing excellent. And I hope if you haven't joined, you do. It is a really good level of accountability. Anywho, hi. So if you guys have questions, remember, throw them in the comments. Until then, I'm going to go over some of the questions on the channel and read those to you guys and answer them. All right, Ev, hi, what about your weight loss? Did you reach a plateau? And she's asking about probably the video I did today. I am not going to weigh myself until August 1st. Hi, everybody. I am actually very excited about this because this dress that I'm wearing, I weighed about 245 last time I wore this, and it was snugger, and I just put it on this time, and it's like, okay, another 15 pounds and it won't fit anymore, which is like, yes. But August 1st is when I shall weigh in. Hi, Mitzi. Hi, Tanya. Oh, from Germany. Hi, Martin. Wonder what time is it there? I'm just curious. All right. La Spectrus. Hi, hun. Do you count calories at all, or do you know your average? I think she's just wanting to know my average. Aw, thanks, Meg. I'm so glad you are. Because you know what? We all stumble, we all fail. It's getting back up and getting right back on. And that is like the key. It really is. I know there are handfuls of people who are like, I haven't cheated in 800, 900 days or whatever it is. And I'm pleased for them. I really am. But the reality is I know I'm imperfect. And if I hold my standards to, I have to be perfect, I'm going to fail. So yay to you. Super excited for you. For La Spectrus's question about calories. No, I do not count calories. Calories are not a good metric. It is not a 1-to-1. If you eat 1 calorie, you burn 1 calorie. Calories only consider heat energy when being broken down, but the body, with the energy we eat, it breaks into chemical, heat, and mechanical energy. So it's a very bad metric to use. The only thing I use calories for, which I don't anymore because I kind of know what I'm eating, is it gives you kind of a gross estimation of how energy dense the food is. That's it. You look at a celery stick, it has 10 calories. You look at a piece of cake, it has like 1,500. I mean, logically, you could pretty much look at it and know, but it's like, okay, this has none, this has a lot. That's all it's used for. Martin, Carnivore Day 9 and counting. Whoop, whoop. Awesome. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Mary. Thank you, Karen. I have been I usually wear my hair up because Scott and I are always doing stuff. And if I fix my hair, it's like 2 hours later, I'm getting sweaty and it's sticking out 80 different directions. So if I have my hair up with some hairspray, less worrying about it. All right. Let's see. Have you tried queso and plain pork rind skins? Yes. Although I've been less eating queso lately. It's still just like a once a month kind of thing that we do. Yeah, Mitzi, calories in, calorie out only works in a closed system, not the human body, which is not. We're not a closed system. And that's why again, calories only give you a gross idea of how energy dense something is. It's not a 1-for-1. And hi, Brandon, 2nd week of carnivore. Yes. How are you guys feeling? For those that have been doing this, for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, how are you feeling? I'm curious. Have you gone through the the carb withdrawal, all of that kind of stuff? And if you have, how are you doing with that? Hi, Lynn. Me too. Me too. I'm glad I'm not doing this later on in life, but the biggest motivator for me is I want to have kids as soon as possible, and being 360 pounds did not help with that in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. Someone asked what my triglycerides were, which I don't think they ended up watching the whole video because I did my cardiology video. If you guys are interested and haven't seen it, I did the cardiology update. My doctor was amazing and let me record the audio for it. Everything is looking so much better. Oh my goodness. Mary, I'm worried about loose skin. Can you talk about that a little? Over 150 pounds to lose, but I feel it's holding me back from worrying about it. I already have the apron. Oh, sister, Mary, I already got it. Like I have lipedema in my arms, so my arms just are like abnormally, I shouldn't say abnormal, they're just larger than they should be. I got the skin. And here's the thing, that used to back then stress me out, right? Because I'll have lost by the end of this journey anywhere from like 220, 230 pounds, just wherever I end up at. That's a lot of weight to lose. And I've done the intermittent fasting. I've tried the prolonged fasts for the autophagy, which, by the way, fasting isn't the only way. Through, exercise, or I consider just physical activity, but whatever, exercise, you can actually induce it as well. I just realized they're going to be skin. I mean, it is. What's worse, having the loose skin or not being able to wipe my butt? That's just kind of the way I looked at it. Do I want to be able to live life the way I want to and be able to, eventually my goal is I can run a 10-minute mile. I don't want to run any further than that. I'm not a big runner, but hey, if I need to run away from a dog, at least I feel like I should be able to run a mile. I can't do any of that. I can't be a part of life and the depression and the anxiety that come with eating a standard American diet. And just doing carnivore, the weight just comes off. I just can't help it. So to you, I suggest really look at there's something else behind that, because all the health benefits of giving up all the carbs and the sugars and the crap outweigh immensely the fear of the skin. And there's always things that can be done. They have like these skin binders that you can just wear and it just kind of like snugly holds it in if you care about what it looks like. There's always surgery, which is not always financially an option, but there's surgery. There's ways to deal with it. And what's better? Being able to live a longer, happier life or worry about the skin. So, I mean, that's kind of how I got my mind around it, because that used to be a big concern for me. All right, Penny, trying to do carnivore, but still have to cook veggies, potatoes, rice, pasta for the rest of the family. This makes it difficult. So why? Why have to cook the potato, rice, and pasta? I'm just curious. I mean, if you're the one cooking, like, I understand vegetables. Not everybody wants to just do hardcore carnivore. If you want to do ketovore. But if you see them unhealthy for yourself, why feed them to your family? Or, what you could do, Penny, is taper down the amount you make and eventually just cut it out. I know it's probably hard for you because you're seeing it in front of you, but maybe have a deep conversation with your family, because I'm assuming husband, kids. It's like, I need this. I need this not to be something I cook for myself to make me healthy. Will you be a partner with this for me and helping me on my health journey by allowing me not to cook these? Or ask your husband to, spouse, whatever. Meg, through the withdrawal, only eating when hungry. Perfect. Some days that's disturbingly little. Our bodies are extremely intelligent. They did not have apps and macros and measuring cups and stuff. They know what to eat and when to eat. We just have to learn to trust them and relearn these signals. Eating the hyper palatable foods, binge eating, eating until my stomach was full. Even from a kid, I don't think I ever truly understood what those sensations were and those signals were of stop eating or I'm full, like my body is saying it. I always listened to hear, which was all that emotional eating. Lynn, carnivore 2.5 years, low carb since 2017. Beautiful. That is amazing. Brandon, I had a very bad appetite beforehand and I wasn't really eating much, so the withdrawal wasn't as bad as others. Everybody's a little different, and it does tend to be worse for those of us that went from a very heavy carb. I hate to admit this. I probably was eating 400 or 500 grams of carbs a day right before I did carnivore. The withdrawal is difficult. Lynn, vitamin P. Scott said that to me the other day. I don't remember what we were doing. He's like, you need to get yourself a little vitamin P, Amanda. All right. Martin, day 4, the cravings and mood swings stopped going from strength to strength. Everybody's slightly different. My day 3, 4 were the hardest. Oh boy, I couldn't stand myself in my own skin. Oh, thank you, Donna. That is very sweet of you. All right. Michelle, day 46 days on carnivore, and the lipedema in my right bicep that I was told by a doctor you'll have to live with for the rest of your life is almost completely gone. Yeah, so mine is just in my upper extremity, like in my upper bicep portion of mine. The pearls, so lipedema is very unique. It is not lymphedema, very different. Lipedema is just abnormal fat cells. Anywho, I can feel it. They're like pearls. That's pretty much what they feel like under the skin. And mine have gotten in my upper arms like noticeably smaller, like when I grab them. Because before, I mean, we're talking some of them were like yay big. I could just feel like marbles in my skin, and they feel closer to like a slightly larger pea, which is definitely improved. But it makes sense, right? Lipedema is just the fat cells. So if we're reducing the fat and the inflammation, is it going to go completely away without surgery? Don't know, but anything better is better, right? Yeah, Karen, the keto challenge. I actually watched some of that. Betsy posted it in the Carnivorous Me Discord, and I was watching some of them talk about between lymphedema and lipedema, and they are very different, very different. Lymphedema, specifically in women in the upper extremities, arms, tend to be surgery related, and a lot of times when they've had lymph nodes from breast cancer removed, and then the lymphedema usually turns into kind of elephantitis because you're missing it. But that is beyond our purview today. Vera, let's see. 3 weeks on carnivore. My problem is a constipation. Any ideas? 3 ideas. The few times I have had constipation, I used a saline laxative to get things going. The other 2 things is drink enough water. If I do not have enough water, I get constipated, period, the end. And eating enough fat. If I don't have the water and fat, then I get constipated. As long as I have enough fat and enough water, I'm fine. Because days I'm really busy, this is coffee. I always have 1 cup of coffee in the morning. That's about all the coffee I drink per day. And then some days I drink only like a total 1 more cup of water. Those are not good days for me. So I like using my Bubba cup. I just got off Amazon. It's just double walled is why I like it. I try to drink 3 of these ish a day, depending on if we've hiked. I drink a lot. And I do put half a pack of Element in one size, this size. If it's the stevia, so the sweetened, the one, I definitely only do half pack. If it's the unflavored raw, I'll just dump the whole thing in there. Mantra. I live like I love myself. This is a question I ask myself it's a beautiful idea. Hi, Marie. Sweden, it's 1810. What is that? 6:10. Not great with military time. Meg, are you keeping up with electrolytes? I know a lot of low magnesium, potassium, need a lot of hydrate. Yeah, because you're not eating as much food, and this is something it took me a while to just discover. A lot of our fluid intake actually comes from the food we eat. But if you're eating half or a quarter of the amount of food, you're getting less fluid. Mary, I have taken your advice with exercising. I've been walking in my pool. It has been great. If only the weather would cooperate. Lots of rain here, under 20. Oh, be safe, Mary. But that is perfect. And if you're one of these that hates exercise, because I'm going to be honest, I don't love exercise either. View it as just physical activity, moving. To me, for my mental health, walking is just something I enjoy doing. Yes, you could argue it's exercise because I walk anywhere from, 2 to 7 miles a day now. But this is where I get around like the whole I have to go exercise versus turning it into something I enjoy. Walking in the pool, like I cannot stress enough. I saw a video. It was like a reel or something on Instagram, and he wasn't doing carnivore, but this gentleman was like 650 pounds, and his turning point was when he said he had to have 8 paramedics get him from his house because he was so big and bedbound into the ambulance, and he was so big even then, they couldn't fit him on the gurney, so they had to put him on the floor of the ambulance. And he just started literally rolling left and right in bed and doing things like mini crunches and just whatever he could to get some mobility. And if that's where you're at, even if you're not bedbound in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter. The small things add up. It's the repetition of doing them. One of the ladies sent me this really good email, and I think I'll put the link in the Discord and probably the locals too for anybody that wants to watch it. It's James Clear talking about the whole Atomic Habits book, and he said, every little task, one push-up doesn't make you strong. It's the repetition of that one push-up that does. Calories don't reflect how our body uses hormones or store nutrition. Nothing is burned in our bodies. Yeah, it's an old, narrow view. Our bodies are, as Mitzi said, they're not a closed system. And a closed system is where you can control everything, right? Because when they do calories, they put it in, I forgot what it's called, but they put the food in this water and they pretty much heat it up and then measure for the heat change, the breakdown of the food. But that's not how it works with us. So beyond that, hello, I gave you the eucalyptus oil tip to get rid of the oil stains in clothes. You look lovely. Thank you. I found, because I actually forgot about the eucalyptus oil, I found there is this, oh God, I don't even remember. It's like a little, it's not a pen. It's like this gel thingy doodad, and you like stamp it on your clothes. That got old oil stains out of my clothes because I was looking for a bleach pen, which I guess they don't make anymore. Martin ordered meat from a local butcher. Yum. Yum, 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 yum. Hi, Jen. I know you've been talked about it before, but can you talk about the 3 types of LDL cholesterol? Again, my LDL is 247. I asked for a density test, but he doesn't think it's needed. If it's your PCP, Jen, they're not going to want to do it because he's not going to just admit he doesn't know how to interpret the results. Ask to see a cardiologist because your insurance will okay it by having an elevated LDL. They'll be like, okay, that's fine because you're at risk for being overweight and having an LDL. You want a cardiologist to do it because, again, my PCP was wholeheartedly, but this is after I've been with him a while. He admitted, he's like, I don't see the point in ordering this test because I don't understand it. So LDL, you've got the very low density lipids, you've got the moderate density lipids, and there's LDL-C, which is the plain lipid panel you get done like your PCP orders, but that is LDL-C. It counts the cholesterol on the particle, but that doesn't actually matter. My example I use all the time is like New York traffic. Does it matter how many people are in the taxis or how many taxis are on the road? And it gets a little deeper than that because then it talks about the quality of the taxis, but that's beyond this. So the LDL-C measures how many people are in the cars, but that doesn't matter. It matters how many cars are on the road. And that's where the particle sizes actually matter because it counts the actual particle size, how many there are of each. And VLDL are the ones that are the more dangerous because they are so small. They fit into the like little crevices and they're what actually cause a lot of the artery blockages. My VLDL's come down. It's still slightly elevated, but it has definitely come down. So there are 2 tests, how they word them. NMR, you can ask them for that. That'll do it. Or the Advanced Cardiac IQR. The R really matters. But most of the time, you will have to see a cardiologist for this because your PCP is not going to have a remote idea what to do with that. Plus, they can order other tests like the ApoA, the ApoB, and some of the other stuff he talked about. Hi, Crystal. Marie, how do you know how much fat to eat? I'm trying to lose, so I'm afraid to have too much. Won't our bodies use what we eat before what's on our body doing high fat? So I aim for 50-50, which is a ribeye, half protein, half fat. Some days I will add a bit more. So sometimes I'll do like 60-40, and that just involves me adding a little butter to the ribeye. It's always assessing after I eat, am I hungry? If I'm hungry, I add a little bit more fat to the next meal, or I'll have a butter bite. Like if I'm really like feeling like I need something. That's how I do it. I don't stress about macros in any way. Why? Because it stresses me out. Stress makes weight loss harder. Don't stress about eating too much fat in the beginning. Focus on just being consistent. That is what matters the most. Secondly, no matter if you're eating fat, carbs, it doesn't matter. Our body uses the energy that we eat first. Okay, that's a bad way to say it. If our body needs 100 units of energy, because I'm not going to say calories, I hate that. If it needs 100 units of energy and you eat 120, it doesn't matter if it's carbs or fat. 20 units of energy will be stored, period. No matter fat, no matter carbs, it doesn't matter. Our body will only use what it needs in the moment and store it. So as I'm losing weight, what's actually happening is my excess energy I'm consuming is getting stored and it's pulling from old fat reserves. And it's just like this constant changing around. This is triglycerides are a good metric for this. If your triglycerides are very high, you are consuming a lot of energy and your body's having to store a lot of it. The lower, and that's why mine went from 343 to 115. Don't quote me, but it's right about there. Because I'm consuming a lot less and my body isn't having to store as much. Okay. So that's a good reason why you want your triglycerides low, because it's one of the indicators you're eating a large volume of junk. You know, in hyperpalatable foods, it's easy to eat a bag of Doritos and an hour later go eat donuts because they have no satiety to them. So just pay attention to how you feel. Don't stress about eating too much fat, because remember, carbs or fat, it gets stored. Karen, you've made me want to ride a bike again. A lot of hills where I live. Woo! Do them hills, even if you have to push that bike up the hill. I'm not beyond getting off my bike and pushing up the hill if I can't I can't make it up. I always try. Poor Scott, because he's tall and skinny. He'll be behind me and I always tell him, go in front of me, because he's like chugging along and hardly sweating. And I'm like profusely drenched in sweat over here. Half the time when I start to go up a hill, I like pedal really fast and then I go as far as I can and almost fall off my bike. He almost runs into me every time because I don't know what he's looking at. But, he's just chugging along up this hill like it's nothing and almost rear ends me. It's the funniest thing. Leads. 2 miles seems so far outside of what I can do. Don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can. Do not judge yourself based on anyone else's expectations, what you think you should be at, because you are where you are, and that is okay. I don't care if you're bedbound. Like I use that because that's an extreme example, but there are plenty of people who are and that feel overwhelmed to start these like health journey, movement journeys. Look at what you can in reality do and build up from there. I started at a couple 100 feet using that dang stupid walker because I could hardly make it. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, you guys. My back hurt so bad that I would have shoved, I don't care anybody, I would have shoved anyone out of a seat if I had to sit down. I never did, but it was this bad. I would have shoved someone out of their seat just to sit. My back hurt so bad in the beginning. I mean, it was severe to the point if I'd kept going, my legs would actually have given out on me. Don't judge yourself based on expectations where you should be. You are where you're at. You got this, one step at a time. My first few weeks of when I started walking, I increased it a couple 100 feet. So we're talking a few houses a day. I mean, every week I would increase it. Yeah, do the best you can with where you're at. One step is better than none. And one step adds up into tons of steps over time. How much have you lost now, Amanda? You look amazing. Thanks, Leah. I don't know. I mean, I'm stuck at the 121 just because I haven't weighed myself. But I definitely know I've lost more. August 1st, so 2-ish weeks, I will weigh myself. I'm really sticking to this weighing myself once a month kind of thing. I'm excited about it too, because I can tell my mom loves going thrift shopping to Goodwill stores. I do too. Where we live at, honestly, it costs just as much to buy a thrift shop pair of pants as I can a discounted pair of pants, and they're usually in better shape. Anyways, she bought me some like 12, 14 pants when she came to visit from Virginia. I got them on, but they were snug. I wore a pair of them to go to the DMV earlier this week, and they fit and didn't squeeze my guts out. When I talk to my family and friends, oh, hi, Kimberly, about carnivore, their first concern about fiber and vitamin C, what response can I give them to help them understand? My response about fiber is indigestible. It's like eating a crayon. You're not going to digest it. It's going to go in and then go out. What is the benefit of something that you can't digest? Secondly, my argument with fiber is the stool is much more plump when you go to the bathroom because fiber is like a lattice work. It actually locks up nutrients inside of it that the body isn't able to break down. So you're literally pooping nutrients out your body could have used. It's a waste of food. That's my argument. As far as vitamin C, I believe Bart K and Dr. B probably has already done a video on this about you actually get vitamin C from meat, and you don't need as much vitamin C because your body is more efficiently using the vitamins it has versus going through them and wasting them. I personally, because I agreed with my physician, I take a multivitamin. It's Country Life that I get from Whole Foods, and so does Scott. I made that agreement, and I'm going to keep to my bargain with my physician. So I use Goo Gone for oil stains. Wait, like the Goo Be Gone, but doesn't that on cloth, or do they have a cloth version of that? Because the only stuff I have is the stinky stuff that you put on glass and things, and it would eat through my clothes. I'd be curious if they have a fabric version of that. Water, fat, and electrolyte salt help constipation. I'd also add moving your body. Yes. When we move, it helps with the motility of our intestines. So that's why I think they used to always suggest walking right after you eat. Take or leave it, but at least a little bit after you eat. Do that. Brandon, I still smoke a lot of marijuana. How do you feel this will affect me on this diet? One, smoke of any kind, no bueno for the lungs. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Second, the issue with marijuana is the THC is a appetite inducer. So you're going to be fighting very hard against not wanting to eat when the THC is telling you to eat. You do you. I have zero judgment about that, but I mean, that's just the reality of the battle you're going to be fighting doing it. I would strongly suggest not smoking it, doing things like, I can't say the gummies because those got sugar in it, but a different way. I think they have what do they call it? You put it in the machine and it vaporizes it. It's not a vape pen. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like a little machine you put it in and then it does it smokeless. That would be the best suggestion. But honestly, give it up. If you're doing a lot, most likely it means you have an addiction to it in the sense of it doesn't necessarily have to be physical, but a mental addiction to it, because I assume you're using it to calm yourself, and being reliant on anything that is negatively affecting your health in that way is not good. Celtic salt is superior to Himalayan. There's all kinds of salts out there, y'all, like all kinds. Hi, Peggy. No need to worry about being late. Is Gatorade or Pedialyte good for electrolytes or not for keto? They have a butt ton of sugar and a butt ton of chemicals. I would strongly not suggest using those. If you don't want to buy anything like there's tons of there's tons of electrolyte mixes like Element and Relay, I believe is Keto Chow. If you don't want to spend the money, you can make your own. There are recipes online of you just buy the sodium, potassium, magnesium, and mix the ratios yourself. You don't have to buy the other brands. I like the convenience of it and the flavor, but that's me. Good morning, chapstick drama. That's cute. Started carnivore. Third of this month, lost 15 pounds because of you. Yes, congrats. That is amazing. Twisted, the Discord link. You just go to carnivorousmeat.com, scroll like that far down, and it's the little Discord symbol. It looks like a remote control that's white with a blue background. Click on it, and you will have the link into the server. I watched an amazing interview with Dr. Ollie. Best explanation benefits of high LDL, and then LDL and trigs are the best range. Yep. Yeah. The having increased HDL and lower trig are some of the best metrics for cardiac health that they can do. Jen, thanks. I have a note into my cardiologist asking him to order the tests. Perfect. Huzzah. Yes. I bought the Redmond Rock Salt. It does work on curbing hunger. It does. I was very doubtful, you guys. I had one of the ladies that does the meetup with us. She gave me one because I had heard people mention it before. And I'm not a salt on the tongue kind of person. That grittiness I don't like. And I tried it. I'm like, I wish I had. I wish I had done this sooner. Karima, meat munchies. Yeah, how funny. Hi, Dennis. How expensive is eating carnivore? Friend had the gastro surgery and lost weight. Now getting it back. She's on a tight budget disability. It is going to be very different for a bariatric person. I just have to tell you guys this, or a bariatric surgeon person. The narrow eating window does not exist for them. Whether you've had the sleeve, the full gastric bypass, the lap band, it doesn't matter. You have to eat small portions of well-chewed food throughout the day. It saves so much money. I cannot tell you how much money we save. And that is still with eating ribeyes. Why? We don't eat out except like once a month maybe, and we eat meat. No fast food. No junk food. I'm not throwing fruits and vegetables away. I'm not throwing expired meat because I ate junk food away. We reduced our trash pickup to twice a month. We save $60 a month just going twice a month. Okay. Our neighbors are vegan. Every time, because our trash gets picked up on Wednesday, their trash is bursting full every single week. Right. And it's just like, we produce so much less trash. I don't have to wash the dishes, which saves on water. The only thing I do spend more on is dish soap. I will not lie, because there's a lot of fat in what we do and I have to bind it up. Other than that, God, the money savings. There is a video, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a video you should have her go watch of. I actually broke down exactly what we were spending from June or July before we started carnivore to now. And it's nauseating. Like, I actually went back, looked at our bank records, looked at our credit card records, and I was going to pass out. The other thing too is, think about this. If you get a Starbucks coffee or whatever, Dunkin' Donuts coffee, something a day, you're spending at least $5 to $6 on coffee a day, that kind of coffee. That is, sometimes we eat for $5 or $6 for the entire day. So much money saved. It's crazy. I used to hate getting sweaty because it felt like it made me stink and look gross, fat, and ugly. Now I love to sweat. It makes me feel healthy and fit. And it always makes my skin feel so much nicer and clear after I've sweated. I don't like the grittiness feel still, but it does. I did a Instagram video and it was, or a little reel, and it was the super fit lady. And it's not everybody looks like this at the gym. And that is okay. Because you know what? I actually think it's more beautiful seeing people overweight or out of shape at the gym. The fact that they're doing it and sweating, I think that's an amazingly powerful view. Not shaming fit people. That's not what I mean by this, but I just think it's amazing. Amy, my mom and dad both have stents in them. And that's part of the reason that they're doing this diet, because PCOS, hypothyroidism, and seizures. I want to get healthy. So far it's working and I'm getting more energy. I'm curious how your seizures are going. Keto is one of the main protocols they use to do non-medicated intervention for seizures. But yes, I'm super pleased for you. We found we're spending less, depends on how high quality you want to go, and probably eat less if you have to lose weight. And that's it. I eat probably half to a third of the amount of food I was eating. And really take in consideration, how many condiments have you thrown away on your standard American diet over a year? How many fruits and vegetables did you get and think, I'm going to eat this, and then they go bad? Bananas, avocados. I'm real bad about avocados. You lose weight even more by now. Yeah, I will weigh myself August 1st. I like that too. Weigh once per month. Yeah, because then it's not. This is what I was doing. I noticed with my weekly weigh-ins. Daily, I'm still, y'all, please don't weigh yourself. Please do not weigh yourself daily. A gallon of water is like 8.3 pounds. And if you have a lot one day, you're going to weigh more the next. And it creates this yo-yo mentality. Please, I beg you, do not weigh yourself daily. But I found with the weekly thing, what would happen is I'd expect to lose 3 pounds and I lost 1.5. It's like, okay, Amanda, what can I do to improve this? What can I change? It's only been a week. And so like every week I was going through this, like, what can I change every single week to make this better? And I realized I was obsessing about it. And a week isn't enough time to truly figure out what you're doing is working or not. A month is. And that's why I think doing a month is spot on. Yeah, 11 months in, 68 pounds down. Woo, woo! I'm super excited. At first, I couldn't ride a bike. I tried a few times. I think it was fear of walking down the stairs 1 foot at a time. Now I can do both. I'm so proud of you. Guys, I don't know why, but like most bike riding now, at least in my area, it's not a lot of adults ride. But when I first started, it's like, I haven't ridden a bike in so long. I felt so good being able to do it. Oh, bye, Brandon. I probably already missed you because I'm behind on the messages, but hopefully you have a good business meeting. Broken crayons, still color. D, 61 female, down 70 pounds in 16 months. It was so easy. Congrats. I'm so pleased for you. That is amazing. And I bet you feel amazing. Oh, gosh. Country Life's a good brand, great company. Yeah, I really like their vitamins because my mom did like this headfirst dive into vitamins, and a lot of them are not actually natural. They are industrial produced, and it is not the same bioavailability as a lot. Element has their own website to make your own electrolytes. Yeah, I mean, they offer it. If you can't afford it, that's okay. Like I'm very honest about this. I use Element because I like the flavors intermittently, and I like the ease of taking it with me. But if you're on a budget, there is zero shame in making your own. Literally none. Hi, you inspire me. Thanks, Mary. Now I know you make your own tallow. I make my own lard with pork fat. Is one better than the other? No, it's more flavor. You know, we take our bacon grease and strain it. And as Scott uses that all the time, just depending on what we're cooking, I tend to use the bacon grease for things like I want a bacony flavor. The tallow, usually I just pair it with other beef that we're doing. It's a personal preference. One is not better than the other. Oh, Betsy, thank you for mentioning that. Lower medical bills, less cost for prescription drugs. I wasn't taking many to start with, so my cost was like $15 a month, $20 maybe a month, prescription drugs. But if you're having to take like the statins, the heart drugs, kidney drugs, the list goes on of the medications, it can be hundreds of dollars spent on medication that your insurance doesn't pay and you have to pay out of pocket. Danette, hello from California. Hello. Thank you. That is very sweet of you. Meg, I could not live without herbs for flavoring. Don't. I use spices. I mean, right now at this point, we use salt, garlic powder, onion powder are about the only 3 we use just because, I don't know, I like it. Don't. This is not a punishment. It's a choice. And if it's that concession that's going to keep you on, consistency is what matters. I can absolutely not stress that enough. Who cares if you're doing spices and you feel fine from them? I had a comment earlier, and it doesn't bother me, but what it does is it worries me for the people who are new and stressing about these things. And it was pretty much, he's like, sausage isn't carnivore. You shouldn't eat dairy and meat together. You probably shouldn't eat dairy at all. And it's like, bud, let's not focus on the 5%, the 5% that keeps me doing the 95%. Let's focus on the 95% of me just eating meat. Like, it's called min-maxing, where you are literally trying to squeeze every ounce of lemon juice out of a lemon. Like, you're just like, "Urgh." But then that's like living in a prison. And anytime I feel super restricted, what do I want to do? I want to binge eat. I get like, to my people who have been obese, you know what this feels like? You're stuck in your own body and you feel like you're suffocating. And that's what that restrictive thinking does to me. So my tirade about that, eat spices if they don't bother you. Carnivore diet lasts so long, they say, so satiated. Yeah, you end up eating a lot less just because you're not hungry. And it also allows you to address the emotional eating behind whether you binge or you're just a snacker. There's usually always a stress or emotional reason behind that. Mama, thank you for explanation. Money saving, do you eat organic meat or does it matter? I cannot afford eating organic meat. I cannot afford to eat grass-fed beef. Sometimes we do if we get it on sale, but I get my ribeyes from Costco. They're a choice cut. Would it be best? Sure. Can everybody afford it? No. And I am realistic about this. If you were eating hot dogs and sausage and bacon and that's all you could afford with burger patties, that is 1,000% better than the standard American diet. The amount of chemicals that are in processed foods are ridiculous. I've said this so many times. Scott's testosterone, he's had low testosterone his entire life. The poor guy was like 130 pounds. Scott's like 5'10", 5'11", 130 pounds when he went into the Navy. Okay. He was a stick. He was unable to, really do anything about putting muscle mass on. Just changing his diet, getting the chemicals out, eating the meat, his testosterone tripled. The chemicals are doing so much harm to us. It's ridiculous. We went from $150 family of 4 to $100 or so, dirty carnivore style. Do it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And here's the other thing. Like, I just kind of like reading Atomic Habits plus some Jordan Peterson stuff. As we feel better, we do better, and our socioeconomic status improves. And however that is. So just start where you can. I had an RNE and gallbladder surgery. It's a little more time into eating because small portions can be done. Yeah, you just have to do small portions, really. And that's okay. Because I know there's a lot of people who stress of like, oh, you should eat at a 4 or 6 hour eating window or whatever. Don't stress about that. Stress about being consistent. I can't. That's what I stress about. Being consistent, whatever that looks like. Love herb gardens. I have one specifically for just tea and medicinal, 1 for scent. Oh, I bet that's really pretty. Peggy, I love that. You're not sweaty. You're glistening. I love that. So I'm going to tell Scott next time, I'm not sweating. I'm glistening. Pursuit. There's far less pressure when weighing once a month. Yeah, and the more stressed out we are, the harder it is to lose weight. It causes hormonal imbalances. It causes elevated cortisol levels. All of this does not help for weight loss. And this is why I beg you, please do not weigh yourself daily. Please don't. I hear that. I did vegan and it was very pricey. Yeah, it is very pricey. Mary, do you ever eat luncheon meat? I hear that's heat. I've been having turkey, ham, boar's head. Oh, like deli meat and stuff. Sometimes. I really like it if we're doing a picnic or something because it's a cold cut, and I like boar's head. It's actually one of my favorites, one of the better quality kind. I've been trying to eat less nitrates lately because nitrates can affect triglycerides going up. There was a spike in my triglycerides the time before last, but at the same time, I was eating my cheddar sausages like 6 or 7 times in a week, a couple times, and that was why. Were you insulin resistant at first and has this improved since starting? Yes. Kim, I'm actually going to do a video about all of my blood work changes. I was a type 2 diabetic, and the start of being a type 2 diabetic is insulin resistance. That's like the first pre-diabetic stages. I only had to take oral metformin. I did not have to take insulin. My fasting insulin level was 13.7 when I started, which is high. And I had it checked 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's 7. It's normal. I'm no longer insulin resistant. And that is through dietary change and moving. because the number one way to help with insulin resistance is exercise, physical activity, these kinds of things, because it makes your cells more readily want to pick up the insulin that is in your bloodstream. So they upregulate and they become more sensitive versus the desensitization that happens from bombarding them with it all the time, having carbs and stuff. Yeah. Read the labels for sugar. And here's a slight reality check for everybody. Most, if not all, processed nitrate-based food has some amount of sugar in it, even if it's a few grams. They use the sugar because it actually helps cure the meat along with the nitrates. Nitrates are actually not bad for us if not consumed in large amounts, because honestly, large amounts can actually kill you. But that's for everything, right? You eat too much of anything and it technically could kill you. So that's why having a lot of processed stuff, like if you have the option to eat a whole meat, choose whole meat over processed sausages. But I'm gonna be realistic. Sometimes I'm just too lazy and Scott doesn't want to cook. So I'm like, let's eat some sausage. Not the end of the world. Don't focus on that 5%, focus on the 95%, okay? So if that's all you can afford, don't stress about it. I'm having trouble finding the Redmond Salt Rock. It says for horses and deer. If you go to any of my videos, well, more recent ones, scroll down, there's a Redmond link you can click on, and it's just the Redmond's Ancient Salt Crystal, I believe is what they call it on their website. Thanks, Peggy. Low carb down under. I have no idea what that is. But then again, y'all, I don't get a lot of chance to watch YouTube stuff. Aldi's grass-fed beef, and I don't actually care for the taste of grass-fed beef that much. It's just me. I had someone email me the other day and they were worried about, there was someone saying like there's a lot more omega-6 in grain-fed than grass-fed. And here's my response to that, even if there is. Who cares unless you are focusing on like honing in your diet? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're someone like me or someone starting off, don't worry about the tweaks. Worry about the big fixes. And 100, 200 years ago, probably 200, more close to 200 years ago, grass-fed cow was pretty much the main thing. I'm sorry, grain and grass-fed. And they did fine. They were not as sick as they are today. I think it's the chemicals more than anything. I have a son that's the same height, almost the same weight, and wants to enlist next spring. He's carny now and finally putting on some size. That's amazing. Scott is no longer 130 pounds. He was like 152 or something. He filled out a little bit, thank God, because he looked like sunken when he was 130. He looked like a skeleton. The funny thing is the boy ate. But he's one of those that got genetically blessed with eating whatever he wanted for a very long time without gaining an ounce of weight. But aren't men like that anyways, most men? Karen, Ketovore 1 year, type 2 diabetes reversed. Whoop, whoop. Does anyone know if a person can come off heart meds if heart is now running on ketones? My cardiologist won't know, so I can't ask him, Karen. There are a trillion different heart meds and reasons you may or may not need to be taking it. So that is a very broad question that I cannot answer because it depends on what's going on and why you're taking them. I would 100% talk to your cardiologist about that. And if he won't listen, I'd ask for a different one. Christine. Will there be a point where I will eat less? I'm male, 5'4", about 225, been carnivore almost 46 days and eat about 2 pounds of meat a day or more and usually eat once a day. You, as your body becomes more fat adapted, you will find yourself eating less. However, if you are working out, you will find that you'll want to eat more. Second, I actually found I ate less when I did 2 meals a day than 1 meal a day. 1 meal a day, I would eat like an entire ribeye and something else sometimes. And now eating twice a day, I'll eat 2 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon and then half a ribeye to 3/4 of a ribeye the second meal. So I find that I eat a lot less. Okay. But there's a lot of things that go into it. If you're trying to work out, if you're exercising, your appetite will be higher. Let's see, maybe personal question. Have you ever thought about carnivore pregnancy or raising carnivore kids? Yeah, I most likely will do ketovore through the pregnancy, and our kids will follow a ketovore type eating. I will not in any way, shape, or form allow my kids to have apple juice and juices and all of these sugary things. I'm not blaming my mom, because my mom, here's the thing I realized, my parents did the best they could with where they were at in life, and I accept that. But watching my mom as a 6-year-old binge eat a literal pound of chocolate is what taught me food was emotional support, and I will absolutely not teach my kids that. They will have a healthy relationship with food, not this binge eating, I've experienced throughout my life. Yeah. That's a good question. Why do you want to eat less? Like, if you're trying to lose weight, carnivore, as Dr. B says, is a weight optimization diet. You want to gain, you'll gain. You want to lose, you lose. Your body wants to get to whatever that healthy point is. Do not try to push a square peg through a round hole in making yourself lose weight faster. Stress slows it down. Min-maxing, especially when you're in the beginning, just trying to be consistent, slows it down. Your A1C is 7 and they say not about it. No. Okay, so here's the difference. A1C is not fasting insulin. They are two very different tests. My A1C was 4.9. When I started, it was 7.1 when I started this. My A1C is 4.9. It's been hovering like 5.1, 4.9 for the past 8 months probably. Fasting insulin checks your insulin resistance. And I'm actually thinking about making a video about this. Having a low A1C does not mean you reverse your type 2 diabetes, okay? It means it's being managed. You need to have insulin resistance reversed, because what happens is if your A1C is, let's say it's a 5, you're 4 months in carnivore, your A1C is a 5, but your fasting insulin is still quite elevated. If you were to eat a piece of cake, your blood sugars would still skyrocket, okay? Right now, if I eat a piece of cake, my body responds completely normally to it because my cells readily pick up the insulin that's bound to the glucose I ate. When you are a diabetic, your cells downregulate the outside of them. So they're like, we're so full, we cannot take anymore. We will not accept any more insulin. So that's why your blood sugars skyrocket, because your cells will not take the insulin from the insulin resistance you have. Okay. Very different things. Karen, is drinking too much Pepsi Max not good? I'm ketovore 1 year, reverse type 2 diabetes. Personal opinion, avoid sodas with aspartame and things like that, like they're the plague. Now, I'm not going to judge if you don't, because if that's the one thing that keeps you on, keep doing it, because consistency matters. But many countries have actually banned the use of aspartame because of link to cancer. Okay. It's not a good thing. These artificial sweeteners are not good. They also create spikes in your insulin because the body thinks it's going to get sugar, especially if you're drinking a lot of it. If it's an intermittent thing, like you have it every few days, I wouldn't stress so much about it. But if you're drinking like daily and a few a day, I try watering it down. I think that's Dr. Barry's take, is if you're like a soda addict, water it down. I would say not with water, with sparkling water, so you get that fuzziness. And eventually change over to something like, if you need that soda bubbliness. I've never been a soda drinker, but I love the sparkling water with no artificial sweeteners. It's just bubbly water. I do get the flavored ones. Yes, it says natural flavorings, and there's probably something in it that I shouldn't be drinking, but whatever. I'm not going to nitpick. But I would strongly suggest doing that and trying to switch off of them. But as I said, if it's the thing that keeps you on, just baby steps, right? Yeah. just the baby steps. Don't expect to go from drinking 5 a day to 0 the next, because when we feel restricted, it relies on willpower to ensure that, no, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this. And willpower is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more it fatigues, and it will fail at some point. Tea. There you go. My favorite, if you want the caffeine, is Fuji apple seltzer water. No sugar, no artificial sweeteners in it. But you get some caffeine because it's white tea based, and it's because I did have an apple juice addiction. Are you lifting weights when you work out? We are doing right now, we're doing the machine. So I guess technically, yes. I mean, we are lifting weights. We've been going to the gym 3 times a week. Scott's goal for this week is 6 times, which is fine because it's like arms, legs, core, and then rotating them. I love lifting weights. Eventually, I'm hoping in the next few months, I want to develop the strength and coordination to go back to Olympic weightlifting because I love it. Five new caffeine drinks banned in Europe. I'm curious if you know which ones those are, Karima, because that would be interesting. Used to drink 12 packs of Mountain Dew per day. Wait, I'm assuming you mean 12. Drink 12 pack. Okay, a 12 pack. My bad. Sorry. 12 packs of it. Good God. Is that not like, is there 6 in a pack? 72? Is that 70? 72? Never mind. I get it. Took me 2 weeks, headaches to get off them both. Yeah, that's a massive amount of sugar and caffeine in that. So, and if you don't want to do the shock and awe, water it down. Start with half 1 week and then do a quarter and then aim to none. Listed online. I'll have to look. On Twitter, I posted an article that the FDA, so the WHO pretty much was like, aspartame, not good, links to cancer. And FDA, so US FDA, said, oh no, they jerry-rigged it. Aspartame isn't bad. I'm just like, you got to do your own research, y'all. You just have to. It is. But if, again, you guys, I don't want to stress enough. I don't want anybody to like see this and be like, oh, I can't do that because I can't have it. Baby steps. Start with something that is controllable. Start with something that you can easily change. It is these small things. Hello, I'm staying with my daughter to help with new baby support. I did a ton of meal prep July challenge. Thank God. My challenge has been stressful. Also had 2 adolescent grandkids visiting. It is very hard, and I'm proud of you. Like, it's super duper hard when you have, 1, you're not in your own home, and 2, you're at someone else's house, and if they don't eat the same way you eat. So kudos to you, plus the stress of new baby, right? You just keep trekking forward. No matter if you fall, just get back up. Just get back up. Karima, the dead mice say otherwise. Yes, sadly. There's a lot of, you guys didn't know, I might actually make a video of this. There are a lot of food preservative chemicals that have been banned in other countries that the FDA allows use in the US. I've seen and had some people say that when they eat food from like Europe and then they come to US, it's absolutely disgusting. It tastes purely like chemical in the US versus what they have in Europe because the amount of chemicals and preservatives we have. Karen, diagnosed insulin resistant about 20 years ago before type 2 fasting insulin was 23.4 UK measurements. I'll have to look up the metric change between the two of them. But 20 years of insulin resistant, it's going to take you a hot minute to improve that. It could take a couple years, but that's okay. Because here's the thing, even if your A1C is low and it's being managed, that is a very good thing. I don't want to poo-poo anybody about this. It is excellent getting your A1C lower. Why? Free floating sugar in the body even if it's bound to insulin, but free floating sugar is what causes damage, blood vessel damage. I read an article yesterday about they're actually finding that excess sugar in the body is what is the biggest indicator of cardiovascular disease, because what happens is the plaque, the cholesterol. Everybody blames cholesterol for what the sugar did. The sugar causes damage to the blood vessel walls. So cholesterol is the spackle that they're trying to cover the damage up, right? Try to protect it. But if it keeps getting damaged and you don't change what you're doing, it keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker, because the body cares about that moment in time. It doesn't think, oh, hey, I'm narrowing the blood vessel to the point blood can't get by. It's like, oh, there's damage. Let me fix it. So sugar, no bad. Where was I? Okay, Gray Wolf. I seem to be stuck at 260. I'm down from 310. Woo woo! That's 50 pounds. That's amazing. It's annoying not to see the scale move off 260. If you have not, join our July challenge. Second, weigh yourself once a month. I know this might be hard if you're doing a daily or a weekly weigher. And strongly suggest journal what you're eating for a week. Get an idea of what you're eating. Because I'm going to be honest, I didn't realize I was eating 7 sausages a week. I actually sat down and journaled it. I'm like, oh, I thought it was like 3 or 4, and it was almost double that. Sometimes things can sneak in that we just don't really realize that can slow this down. Secondly, I've had plateaus myself. There's times the body just needs to adjust to where we're at. Stress about losing weight, life stress, work, all of this impacts it. Join our July challenge. It's free. You just do July challenge in the code box. And we're going to do an August one too. Have some accountability with that. Excuse me, guys. And I know it's so hard. Try not to stress. Try not to stress. Even in the difference in the McD's fry Europe versus US. Cadbury chocolates, for instance, way longer list of ingredients. I saw ketchup difference between, it was like ketchup someone was showing from Britain to the US. It was like 4 ingredients in Britain. All understandable, right? Like tomato, vinegar, sugar, cane sugar, and something else. No chemicals. US, like 13 ingredients. I weigh more than when skinny due to muscle. Yeah. Weight, it's, this is why I say I'll 220, 230 pounds, something, whatever I'm going to lose, I'll be. I don't care how much I weigh. I genuinely do not care how much I weigh. I care about how I feel. The fasting insulin, is it the same as C-peptide? It is not. It is not the same test. Ask your physician. If you're interested in this, you need to ask them for a fasting insulin. That is literally what it's called, fasting insulin, okay? It's something I think anybody at the start of their journey should get done, because let's say for US metrics that your fasting insulin, mine was 13.7, which is high, okay? You're not going to know where you start at, because I've seen people's 20 in US metrics, which is really, really high. You don't know where you start. So let's say you don't get it done in 6 months. It's now 18. You're going to be like, oh man, this isn't working. But maybe you started at 20 or 23. So yeah, it is. It just takes time. Get it done. Like really get it done. Don't be sorry. The whole point of this is answering questions. I'll do a few more and then I need to run out. Okay. Do you know of any YouTube channels that teach exercises such as HIIT or other types of exercises? Even better if they're carnivore. I've seen some Sean Baker videos. The Sean Baker ones I found are literally him just showing him doing it, not necessarily teaching it. I don't have any suggestions for it, but here's the thing. If you are just starting out, I suggest not doing HIIT right away. HIIT is extremely hard, and the likelihood that you're going to have injury if you haven't been working out is very high, which will set you back even further. Start with a month or 2, and this is more from a physical therapy point, right? But see, the thing with physical therapy is I dealt with people who are on the opposite end of the spectrum, not people who want to weightlift, but people who go from not being able to walk to strengthening that way. Take a couple months and work on motor neuron recruitment and strengthening, and then wean into things like that. Dr. Berg, the weight loss isn't the goal. The number, the world has been obsessed, including me, about that number on the scale, but I don't care if I weigh 260 pounds, but I can wear a size 6, or if I weigh, 130 pounds and I can wear a size 4. If I'm healthier wearing the size 6 because I'm fitter, and I feel better, I can, move around, I don't actually care. I really don't. It's about being healthy and feeling good. That is what I care about. Okay. Get to the bottom. Almost 4 months, strict carnivore, was craving something sweet a few days ago, found M&Ms, and then remembered how bad I felt more than 4 months ago and threw away. M&Ms, they're so gross. I'm sorry. For anybody that's liked M&Ms before, those were never. Oh, there we go. Coach Bronson. Also try Alice and Kevin for keto carnivore couples. There you go. It doesn't have to be intense when starting out. It could be very relative to ability. Y'all, listen to them. I'm going to say you listen to them. All right, everybody. Thank you so very much for joining me. Later this week, I will have out my rheumatology video I'm working on and a handful of other things. I appreciate you. Do not forget, if you are in the Seattle area, we are doing the meetup July 29th. We'll be hiking at Mary Moore Park, followed by Foco de Chao. If you haven't had Brazilian Steakhouse, and because we're doing lunch, it is much cheaper. Actually, funny enough, most of the time ribeyes, honestly, are $50 to $80 at a restaurant. It is cheaper than that for Foco de Chao for lunch. So have a wonderful Sunday, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.